Alright guys, welcome into another video. Today we wrap up the season. Unfortunately, I'm not in the Super Bowl, so it was not a good year. Actually was worse than the year before. So before we get into kind of what happened, kind of take a look at the players' stats. Tom Brady won MVP, won the league voted MVP, and threw a league-high 52 touchdowns. Unfortunately, threw 30 picks, but still had a 71 completion percentage, a buck 22.4 for a rating, and then 5103 for yards. Compared to his last year's stuff, just quickly threw a few more touchdowns. I think he threw like 8 more touchdowns. He threw 12 more touchdowns. Same amount of picks, but he threw more touchdowns, threw more yards, completed about the same passes. Actually threw less passes than last year. Significantly less passes. So all is well in the world. He finished with a whopping -8 yards. So yeah, 109 then. All right. Ground game was okay. I mean, I got over 5 yards a pop with my main two guys, which was nice. Only 8 touchdowns for Jeremy Hill, but still had over 1,000 yards. Didn't run the ball a ton. Gillislee White did some solid stuff for me. Overall, a very down year running the ball. If Brady retires, I have his backup waiting in the wings. I guess we'll get into how people progress later. The three-headed monster in the passing game, Gronk, Cooks, and Dorsett. Very excited for what they can do. Edelman is the number. He'll drop to the number 3 player, maybe even number 4 at some point. But these are my top 2 targets, receiver-wise. I just need some height. I can't have 5'10" guys. I need someone other than Gronk. Especially James White had almost as many catches. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone in here got some action besides, practice squad guy, practice squad guy, practice squad guy. Most of these guys were practice squads who didn't get any looks, so all is good in the world. Cooper Hoffman actually didn't play for me. He was on another team, got cut, so I picked him up and put him on the practice squad. Shaq Mason did not allow a sack all year. Thuney allowed 1. Andrews 3, Garcia 3, and Fleming 7. Really good O-line. You'll see how they progressed in a minute. Defensively, Hightower led the team in tackles. Rivers led the team in sacks at his left end spot during the season. Flowers had 10. So I had 2 good bookends. And I got some pressure up the middle. Hightower got in a little bit. And he rarely blitzes, so that's good. D-Mac led the team in picks with 11, Gilmore 5. Butler only had 4, but people don't really throw to Butler a ton. Kicking, McManus was solid. One of those was blocked. The other 2 were lag, so, solid year for him. Same with extra points. A lot of lag. Only kicks I realistically missed were, long field goals, 45 plus. So, not bad. My rookie punter, Logan Pop, 45.8 yards a punt for the net and then 55 average. That's solid. 13, out of 33 punts, 13 inside the 20. That's pretty solid. So I'm happy with that. And there was one game he didn't even play. So that's all right with me. Dorsett, my top returner for kicking and punt returns. So solid. That's kind of the season in a nutshell for stats-wise. Looking at where the team ended up. We were 3rd in offense. Like number 2 or 3 in points scored. Number 2 in points per game. Number 1 in pass touchdowns. Actually one of the worst teams in rushing. And then one of the worst in first downs. When I was one of the top last year. So defensively I was number 2. Allowed the least amount of points all year. And I was, near in the top 20, in the top half for sacks. In the upper half for fumbles. And I was in the top 5 for top 6 for interceptions. So, not without 2 unrealistic guys having godly interception numbers, it was all right. This was a bad year in conversions. I was 3rd worst, and yet I led the NFL last year. But here's the kicker. I had 41 less attempts. So I don't know what happened. My stats are really low. Red zone offense was solid. I just need to cut down on dumb turnovers. Penalties, one of the least penalized teams, so nothing wrong with that. Turnovers, I was in the top 10 for margin, plus 12. That needs to be higher next year, and it will be, promised. Okay, let's all right, here we go. No, not standings. I got the number 1 seed. That's about it. Lost in the first round too, so that's great. Here we go. So started off the season, preseason wise, almost undefeated. I played this game and actually lost. Funny thing. Well, can't look into the stats, but I was up 16-0, and then threw 16-3, and then it threw 3 straight pick sixes in the fourth quarter to lose the game. So that was a fun experience. Otherwise, I won every other game. It doesn't really matter. Regular season started off rough with a 5-interception performance for Mr. Brady. Then I kind of went on a roll here, to be honest. I gotten a huge, 40-plus burgers, and then I went on a roll where my defense only allowed 1 score in 4 out of the next 5 games. And this one here was against the CPU Colts. Yeah, the CPU Colts. So they had their CPU cheese in the fourth quarter when I was up 31-7 or 31-3. Went into the bye week at 7-1, which is where I wanted to be. As if I can split up my chunk into 2 seasons, the first 8 and the last 8, 7-1 each one is a really good year. Jets won 36-22, rolled against the Bears, rolled against the Bills, high-scoring rolling win against the Packers, rolled the Dolphins, tough grinder versus the Texans, grinder versus the Jets, and then sat a lot of my starters, pulled them at half, didn't play too well, lost the final game against the Vikings when the number 1 seed was already locked up. So stuff was pretty solid. All in all, a really good year. Very good year. Now I get to the playoffs, and we'll dive into this game. I played awful. I just need to do better. Almost brought myself into the game, but Mr. Brady played bad. I played bad. My completion percentage was fine, but those 4 picks need to change in a long of 30. No, and then my O-line just gave up 4 sacks. They didn't allow much all year. Gave up 4 that game. And then Matt Forte went off. So, it is what it is. Cooks had 9 for $123. Dorsett had a solid, I don't know. Just overall a frustrating game. Shaq Mason, who didn't let up a sack all year, gave up 1. Shocker. My nose guard was my leading tackler. That can't happen. Hardly got any pressure. I got 1 sack, and that was about it. Gilmore had a 99-yard pick six that really helped me keep in the game. So that's kind of the season in a nutshell. 1 and done. Still not over the hump of making it to the Super Bowl. Lost in the AFC Championship game last year. So kind of looking at how my guys progressed quick. We'll quickly scroll through this. So, Mr. Will Redding went from a 77 overall to an 84. Got a short to a 91, medium 85, awareness 81, deep 80, throw on the run 80. So I kind of got, he's going to be a solid guy. If he plays next year, I'm comfortable with it. If not, then he's going to have another year to progress and get good. So, overall, really happy. Trevor Siemian will be a free agent after the year. Didn't really do much. And Brady's Brady. So, halfbacks. Mr. Hill, 90 overall. Kind of worked him up just a little bit. If we look at last year compared to this year, he took a step down touchdown-wise. He had 9 fewer touchdowns. But, had a better yards per carry. Had a roughly the same. I just need to run the ball more. That's all it comes down to. Run the ball a little bit more. Nichols, or McNichols, I'm excited for him. He's got solid stuff. He'll be a solid new back in place instead of Gillislee or Zenner. I'll find another, solid guy to mix in with Hill, but he'll take the place of Zenner and probably Gillislee. So, Yeah, that'll be solid. Devlin is probably going to be done. I'm sure someone will pay him good money. He's a really good blocking fullback, absolutely, but I don't know. We'll see. I like Devlin, so I might bring him back. Otherwise, I got a guy I drafted who sat on my practice squad, and then a guy I picked up. Cooper Hoffman is a guy who I didn't even expect to get. Saw him in the free agency, signed him to the practice squad. No one took him, so now I'll get him for 2 years for cheap. I got 2 good fullbacks for cheap. He's not the worst blocker, but he's not a great blocker. I mean, he's not a great runner or catcher or anything. He's okay. This guy's more of a receiving fullback. And his blocking's okay, but, he's got some running moves, and his catching's high. So, it's going to be a true battle. I prefer Volk, but Cooper Hoffman ain't awful. So, Brandon Cooks got all the way up from a 90 overall to a 95. He's got some really spectacular stuff. He's a stud who's going to be a huge focal point of my offense for years to come. Not in this league, just in this league, but in Madden. Dorsett got up 6 more overall. So now he is solid, all-around, great player. Gonna use him a lot more next year. No one else really did much. So, I don't know. Lazard has got some size, but he's dumb as a brick, and his route running sucks. I can run a better route than him, and he's a little slow, but he's a nice project. Nothing really in the tight end department, Gronk just being Gronk, so that's all it is for Gronk. Worked Garcia up, 97 pass block. He's got +2 with the bonus. He's weak, but his blocking is phenomenal. He's athletic, he's tall, lengthy. He's a stud. So I'm excited for Tony Garcia. Joe Thuney, same thing. Weak, but he's got a 91 pass block with the bonus. He's got 93 right now. He's my lowest rated lineman in pass block with a 91. Next we go to Mr. Andrews. Mr. Andrews with that 95 pass block. Very good. I'm very happy with my O-line. Shaq Mason's got a just straight up 99 pass block, 94 run block, 90 awareness, 90 impact. He is my best lineman. Got him locked up to a nice little contract there in the offseason. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, he's got a nice contract that'll pay him, $5, $6, $7 million. It'll pay him on average of like $7 million a year. Got him a nice 5-year, $35 million deal. So about $7, $8 million a year. Solid player. Solid player. Great player. One of the top-rated guys. Next one is Mr. Fleming, who I signed to a really cheap deal last offseason before he progressed amazingly. He's got a 97 pass block, 94 run block. Just overall, my O-line's really good. So I ran a 4-3 last year. Now I'm switching to a 3-4 base hybrid front. So I will be playing 4-3. I just want a 3-4 personnel nickel package and like dime packages, dollar, quarter, etc. Base will be a lot of 4-3, but I do have 3-4 to mix in. Lawrence Guy will be kicking out to end with Bromley and Ledbetter. They didn't really progress, but he's gone after the year anyways. He's on a 1-year deal. I signed him before the playoff game. Trey Flowers will stick at a 3-4 end because that is his true natural position, and he's not a good 3-4 outside linebacker yet. He might be in a year. We'll see. Son Ridgeway will be a solid backup player. He's strong, can get, he can do some good stuff, and he's got a little bit of rush moves in him. Rashad Brown, same kind of deal. Got him in the practice squad. Actually moved him there before the playoff game, which I lost. He's a nice little project, dude. I'm excited for him. Damon Harrison, Allen Branch. Branch is gone after the year. Harrison, I don't know what to do. I could save $8-9 million by cutting him, but I don't want to lose that true 3-4 nose guard. So we'll see what I do with that. Derek Rivers is very athletic, and he's going to be the focal point of my defense with Hightower at linebackers. I have a ton of inside linebackers that I need to find out who the hell's playing where. Obviously, there's Dante Hightower. He's going to be the number 1, the true starter. But do I want to keep an undersized athletic Landon Roberts? Do I want to go with one of these project linebackers, another undersized athletic linebacker? So I got some options. I got some cover backers. I got some run stuffers. I need to find another inside backer. McClellan's done after the season. Might bring him back, might not. Carter Coughlin will get in the rotation at outside backer. And then Shalique Calhoun will probably end up being cut. We'll see. It's cheap to keep him. Jenkins will save me $10 million, so he'll be gone after the year, unfortunately, most likely. Butler and Gilmore will return. Jonathan Joseph will be in free agency, so I'll need to find another corner. I'll need to upgrade corners. McCourty next. My safeties will all stay the same. They're all locked up for multiple years, so my safety core will look the same again. McManus had a solid year, and then Pop got up from a 70 overall to a 78. Looking towards the draft, I have pick 4 and 28. So I'm going to be upgrading this team significantly. So it's going to be interesting. I got a lot of options. I'm going to try and pick up another pick or two here, but we'll see. Got a lot of interesting things I can do at 4. So we'll see kind of what's going on. Other than that, looking towards the offseason, I don't need a quarterback unless Brady retires. If Brady retires, I'll need a backup who can push Will Redding. And then I'll draft like a late-round quarterback to be a project. Need to get another halfback. Fullbacks are good. I need to find a big threat, deep home run hitting receiver. I need to get another tight end next to Gronk. Need to get some backups on the O-line. And then I need to find another nose guard and another D-end. Need to find some inside backers, a pass rusher, a corner. I got some holes. So I will see you for the off-season wrap-up and Season 3 preview. All right, see you next video.